Good morning, guys. We are now in a viewpoint overlooking the Dead Sea and the Dead Sea product factories. And the factories has a very interesting story to tell. And I would like to tell you the history of this place. So it all began more than 100 years ago when a Russian-born engineer, his name is Moshe Novomyesky. He was a Russian mine engineer. His family had several gold mining in Russia, and he was a Zionist. And he read the book that Theodor Herzl wrote, Alt Neuland. And in this book, Theodor Herzl, the prophet of the modern state of Israel, was relating also to the phenomenon of the Dead Sea and its potential. And once Novomyesky read the book, he had the idea of coming over here to the land of Israel and building a factory that will produce mainly the potassium. And he came over here, he took some samples, he went back to his laboratories in Russia, and he checked the material, and the results were positive. He was very happy with the material that he found over here in the Dead Sea. In 1920, Novomyesky and his family immigrated to Israel, and he started, this is already the time of the British mandate. In his first visit, the area was governed by the Ottoman Empire, but in 1920, the British are already controlling this land, and so he started negotiating a concession contract from the British, and he finally, it took him about 10 years to materialize the concession agreement, and finally he had the agreement, and he built a first factory, not here, but in the northern end of the Dead Sea, very close to Jericho, on the northwest side of the Dead Sea. And eventually this factory was very successful. We need to remember that potash is a very important material ingredient for several industries. First of all, it's a main ingredient for the fertilizers that are crucial for expanding agriculture, and also for the explosive factory. And so the British helped him, and the material was actually loaded on trucks that took the potassium on trucks, driving up the Judean mountains to Jaffa and later on to Haifa in order to export the materials to London. Everything was very good and successful till we come to 1948. And when the War of Independence of the State of Israel embarked, the Arab Legion invaded the area to the north of the Dead Sea, and a few days after the State of Israel was declared, the State of Israel was declared on May the 15th, 1948. If I'm not mistaken, maybe on the 17th or 18th of May 1948, the Arab Legion conquered the area of the factories, and actually Arab mobs looted the factories, and the factories was actually abandoned. All the workers were actually fleeing the factories on boats, going all the way to the south, to Sdom, to the area where we are now. And actually the factory was demolished. Even though Novomyesky tried to get in touch with King Abdullah, and he asked the king help in order to save his life project, he couldn't succeed in this, and he lost the factory. This was a great loss to Novomyesky in personal, but also to the newly born State of Israel. And so in 1951, the State of Israel bought the concession that Novomyesky got. By the way, he got a concession for 75 years, from 1930 to 75 years. And so the State of Israel bought the concession from Novomyesky, and a brand new factory was built where we are now. And again, the main product was potash. A few years ago, a big amount of magnesium was found over here. Magnesium is a very important material for the automobile and aerospace industries, and the factory became a major factor, I would say, in the regional economy and also in the national economy. Israel became one of the leading exporters of potash to the entire world. And then the Offer brothers, or Israel Chemical Company, bought half of the ownership of the factories, and now the factories are actually owned in a joint manner by the State of Israel and by the Offer brothers. Many people, when they see the situation of the Dead Sea, when they see that the level of the water of the Dead Sea is decreasing, they blame the factory behind my back. Actually, this blame has no base, because the effect of the factories upon the level of the water in the Dead Sea is, I would say, something like 15-20%. The major factor for the declining level of the Dead Sea is that the Dgania Dam, that was actually built in the 1920s at the south end of the Sea of Galilee. And the Dgania Dam is actually blocking the flow of the water in the Jordan River. So we have less and less water coming to the Jordan River. Of course that the factories are also utilizing the water that used to get into the sea. And also we need to mention a parallel Jordanian factory that was established on the other side with the help of Israeli engineers. And so we can see that the natural outcomes of the factories is very grave, is very serious, because we see the declining level of the sea, and we can see also the sinkholes. The phenomenon of the sinkholes is also caused by the fact that the level of the sea is declining. And the geological reason for the sinkholes is very interesting, because the entire region where we are now is actually built mainly from salt rocks. So long the level of the sea was higher, and we had salty water of the Dead Sea coming in touch with salt rocks, nothing happened, because it was salt meeting salt, and no major effect was caused. But once the level of the salty water declined, and fresh sweet water from the aquifer were actually rising, because they are lighter than the salt water, so the fresh water are riding over the salty water. The fresh water started to melt and eat the salt rocks from underneath, and this is the cause for the sinkholes. So you might ask yourself, or maybe the Israeli government, so why don't you close down the factories if it's causing such major problems? And the reason is, first of all, money. And the money has to do also with the regional economy, because in the entire region of the Arava, but also of the Negev, there aren't enough places for people to work. And let's say the next day that the factories, God forbid, will be shut, we're going to have an economic crisis in the Negev, because thousands of people that are living in the Negev are working in the factories. So it's a very complicated situation. Of course that things has to be done in order to maintain and to preserve the beautiful nature that we can see around us. And this was the historical background to the factories that we see. Thank you.